Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Freedom Thinking Community Group. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. It's amazing. Last week, I was so ill. So ill. Jen put out about community group being on, and I was thinking to myself, I could really do with just going to bed, to be honest. I need to be in bed. And as the way the universe beautifully works out, Louise turned up. We had a lovely conversation for about 20 minutes. Her mate showed up and Louise had to go. So I just went straight to bed after that. It was perfect. It couldn't have been more perfect. So thank you all for your patience. I'm coming out the other side now, not 100%, but I'm getting there. I never get ill, but this one's absolutely battered me. Um, yeah. So thanks. Hope you don't get a virus via the computer. Um, yeah, the date is the 26th of January, 2026. Yeah, we're nearly through January already. Shit, we're nearly a twelfth of the way through the year. Flies by. Yeah, thank you all for being here. This is a via donation event. If anybody wishes to make a donation, please can you look in the description below in the YouTube comments and whatever. And in there, you'll find all the descriptions about how to make donations and stuff. Thank you to everybody who so kindly donates. It is so gratefully received. What else? Oh, yeah, thanks to everybody who likes, shares, subscribes, and dislikes. Anybody who dislikes, thank you. That's cool. Apparently, it's all good for the Dan. I think that's right, isn't it? It's all good for the algorithmic.
Yeah, it's even if someone dislikes your video, it still gives you a positive on your end.
Oh, cool. Cool. Win-win. Um, but yeah, if there is something you don't like, let us know. We'd really appreciate that. We appreciate the feedback. So you can drop us an email at info@freedomthinking.co.uk. Or failing that, if you don't want to do that, you can just put a comment, leave a comment underneath the video and let us know the reason for why, if there's something we can learn, if there's something that we could improve on, let us know. We're open to learning. Thank you. Just putting Lucia to sleep now, and all being well, she looked pretty tired. She'll be with us within half an hour or so, all being well. Rachel. Hi, Rach. Welcome. We're just starting, love. Okay. So we have got a topic to speak to. We've been asked to speak to a topic tonight. But I was just saying I'm going to wait for Jen to come because I feel like Jen can bring a lot more clarity on that subject than myself. Um, yeah, I feel like she's got some great ideas about it. So yeah. In the meantime, has anybody got anything that they would like to take the conversation in the direction of? Is there anything that anybody would like to speak about? When?
Since I haven't been here for a while. Um, Something that someone said recently that just struck me very deeply and felt like it really brought a lot of things together for me. And I'm just curious how others might see it land. And the person said, they were referring to themselves, they said, I am a magnificent part of the magnificent whole. And I was just like, wow, that just strikes me as a woman of faith who sometimes runs into a little bit of, interesting intersections with people who don't identify a personal God sort. That just really seemed to be a wonderful intersection. I am a magnificent part of the magnificent whole. And it just dropped in so well. And other people, I don't know, so I'm just curious how that lands for people because it just spiritually makes a lot of sense uh, to me. And if the design is such that I feel my thinking, that's the way everybody, the world feels their thinking as well. I'm no different and I'm learning. So there's the I'm the magnificent part that's learning, but it's learning something that we're all part of. Like we're all in this learning pool together, if you will. So anyway, I've been really struck with that and mulling it over a lot in the past few days, how beautiful that is. So
Thanks, Wendy. I'm a magnificent part of a magnificent whole. Yeah,
I'm going to correct you.
correct
I,
away.
I am a part. I am part. I am a magnificent part of the magnificent whole.
The magnificent whole. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Like there is a magnificent whole, a magnificent mind, a magnificent benevolence that has the backs of everybody in the world. And I'm one magnificent part of it, but the whole thing is pretty magnificent anyway. So, yeah,
Beautiful.
thanks. Yeah.
I love that. I personally think that's a really, really beautiful statement. You know, that word magnificence. Magnificence. Not mundane, not boring, not just little me, not broken, not less than, not lacking. Magnificent. It's what we're all seeking, really, isn't it? We're all seeking the magnificence that we know is available to us. We know it on some level. That's why we show up. That's why we read books that expand our minds, introduce us to new ideas and new possibilities. We're all seeking that magnificence. And we all must know it is there, otherwise we wouldn't go looking. What would be the point? You wouldn't start the search if you didn't for one moment feel that there was some magnificence to be found. You just wouldn't. I am the magnificent. I am a magnificent part of the magnificent whole. I already am that magnificence that I've been seeking. There's power in that statement. Stop the search. Stop the constant attempts at self-improvement. Self-help. Rather than looking at how we show up, start to recognize the magnificence of who and what we actually are. And life itself. All life. The earth. The biomes of the earth. The systems of the earth. Systems of the cycles of the sun, the cycles of the galaxy, the cycles that exist within cycles. the cohesion that exists within everything. I am a magnificent part of the magnificent whole, not separate. I was never separate from it, never separate from the fundamental magnificence that creates all things. Never separate. I'm an aspect of it, I'm a part. I am it showing up as me. And the magnificence that is that creates all things is that I am. Like a wave is a magnificent part of the ocean.
Yeah, I was thinking of wave. I was thinking of I am a magnificent star in the magnificent galaxy. And there's how many galaxies, right? I am a magnificent grain of sand amongst all the grains of sand all over this earth. I am it just was very awe-inspiring to really, I don't know, I felt the weight of it. I felt the weight of it in a good way, not the weight like heaviness, but I felt like the impact of that,
Magnitude.
the solidness of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice when something touches our hearts. And it's interesting, it touches you and you try and find it again by listening over and over again, and perhaps you read that book again and you never feel it the same. But the fact you recognized it, that was enough. That's all we're ever really doing in this conversation is we're just seeing through the dross to our magnificence. Seeing through that we've identified ourselves as, or this world as, or other people as, our worlds, our realities. Seeing through it and then starting to uncover something different. A fundamental magnificence that has always been present. And it's only actually because of the fundamental magnificence that you even have the capacity to create the impression that you are less than that. There's a force within us that when you go looking for it, you can't find it. You can't pin it down. You go, is it this? Is it this? Oh, it's consciousness, isn't it? And you go, yeah, okay, well, what is consciousness? You ask people a couple of questions, and before long they get back to, I don't know. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? You don't know. We didn't invent it. All things are it. Whatever that, to use Wendy's word, benign force is. Whatever it is that lives all things. I don't know about you, but I see that as magnificent. I see it as mind-blowing. I see it as something mysterious. There, pal. And yet here we are. It's got telling off. Am I English? Wendy, benevolent, benigns too, namsy pamsy, mamby pamby, mamby pamby. My apologies. I'm called mamby pamby a fair few times in my life, I can tell you. It's true though, because when we start to discover that magnificent aspect, which is our real self, the movement that takes place within our life, within the way life shows up, is it can't really be measured. It can't be anticipated, it can't be measured, it can't be quantified, but the stark realization and the stark reality shift that an individual goes through when they start to uncover their true magnificence, which never left them, when they start to rediscover who and what they actually are, that that's the most important discovery they'll ever make in a lifetime or lifetimes. You know, there's a massive difference between the life of living life as though reality is outside of you and you're a mere observer, to suddenly falling in alignment with the truth of the fact that no, the reality you encounter is coming from within you. And you are not just mere observer, you are observer. You are observer of your reality, but you're also creator as well. You are the creator and observer of your reality. And when that starts to dawn on people, when people start to wake up to that point, it's like suddenly they step into a new world and the old world just dies below them. They can still remember it like you can anything. But it's almost, from in my experience and people I speak to, it's like a life of two lives. A life with two lives within it. It's a very exciting, disorientating time when you start to wake up and you go from, for want of a better word, living in an external reality to waking up and discovering the true, magnificent inner reality. It's very, very exciting, but it's also very, very disorientating for an individual. That's been my experience over and over again with people. How do I navigate this? How do I navigate my family? How do I navigate my friends? They don't understand. They don't know who I am anymore. But it is singularly the most important discovery we can make. Because all of a sudden you go from living a life full of conditions, requirements, necessities in order to be all right, to discovering your wholeness in all moments. Now, if you can start to walk through life knowing your wholeness in all moments, your fear starts to diminish. And if your fear starts to diminish, then you're only really left with one other pole to kind of play with, and that's that of love, patience, compassion, understanding. And this is all through just discovering the magnificence that lies at the heart of the self. You know, people, when they touch that space, they will have what I call spiritual awakening, what I'm quite happy calling spiritual awakening, because they discover the spiritual nature of themselves. And in doing so, they also start to wake up to God through touching that point. But it would merely be like looking through a wave and seeing the ocean. Because when you discover that heart-centered place, that self, that true self, that true being, the being of infinite love, the infinite creative force, that is life itself, that is ourselves, that is all people, that is all things, When you discover that, you discover something so much greater than you can possibly comprehend, than you can possibly articulate, that you can put, then you can possibly understand. I don't sit here with any ideas and notions that I understand any of it. And I say many, many times, I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. And I mean it. I mean it. I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. And fuck me, can I talk about it? But that's the truth of the matter. The magnificence that Wendy's speaking about is unknowable. It's experience. You can experience it. You can totally frigging become aware it's real. It is real. It's not some fanciful idea. It's not some kind of new age hippie idea. It's a real thing. And we only exist because of it. So much of the time, this is seen as some kind of beautiful belief. Oh, I'm glad you found a amount of people who've said, "Oh, Dave, I'm glad you found something that works for you." It was always working. It's working for you as well. It's working for them. It's working for them. It's working for life. That's why it's such an important conversation. Because we're starting to make sense of life. We're starting to make sense of reality. We're starting to make sense of the mind. We're starting to make sense of science. We're starting to make sense of all kinds of things through simply looking within. We're starting to gain understanding as to why all the problems on the face of the planet exist. No problem can be addressed outside if we don't address the problem inside. The misunderstanding from within. The mind creations that create the external environment that we see on the planet today, all the wars, corruption, the lies. Lack of trust, the division. This is the culmination of mankind's thinking. Right here, right now. This is what divided realities will do. This is what happens when you live as though there are two realities, when in actual fact there's only one. This is what happens when we start to believe in the pole of the illusion of fear, which in and of itself has to be based in duality, which isn't the ultimate truth. But it is a game we play in this world. It's what the human beings play. But really, there is only the magnificence of who we are within the magnificent whole. These.
I've got to go because Mum wants to go out to dinner. But just speaking to what Wendy was saying, um, it was funny because I was thinking the other day, because I don't have an actual job to go to, like that's 9 to 5, and so don't really have structure, and my little brain likes structure. But I thought, how about you think that you're you're um you're on call to the universe, and the universe will let you know when you need it, like whether it's your foster daughter, whether it's one of the dogs, whether it's your mum, whether it's somebody in need. And just chill in between. Just stop worrying about should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Should I be shoulding all over myself? And when Wendy said, about being one part of the magnificent whole sort of thing.
Don't get it wrong. Don't get it wrong.
No, 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 we'll get a slap. But it kind of just cemented that for me, that you are one part of, and you'll know what to do when the time comes, whether it's like say your mum needs you, your dogs need you, an emergency comes up, you're dead good at, nursing somebody through cancer and stuff. And in the meantime, enjoy life, please. Stop worrying so much about, well, should I be doing something? Just kind of be on call, and it'll let you know when you need it. And in the meantime, chill the fuck out. Chill the fuck out.
There's a badge.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you a t-shirt. You got me some baubles. I'm going to get you a t-shirt.
I got you some balls.
You got me some. I need, and the big ones as well. I like them.
I
Needed
know.
them.
I was dead chuffed that they'd still got them. So, yeah, I do need a t-shirt saying "chill the fuck out." Um,
Do you want it on the
yeah,
front or the back? It's got to be on the front, written
on
backwards.
the front could say "just chill the fuck out,"
Written backwards
and
so you can see it in the mirror.
yeah, and on the back could say the universe will let you know when you need it, or it could just say "for fuck's sake."
I'll
Chill
have a
the
think
fuck
about
out.
that. I'm sure I can think of something really good to put on the back of your
You
t-shirt.
could. You could, but yeah, we're going to go and take the dogs out now and
All right,
go
love.
for some
Thanks,
dinner
Lise.
and lots of love to everyone. Okay.
God bless. Give the dogs a stroke. Anybody else? Anybody else want to share anything?
I'll have a go.
Daniel-san.
That just reminds me of when um I went into a different profession, and it was very sort of like at the moment I don't have a lot of things to do, which I'm very grateful for now. But initially, I I just hated it, and it absolutely like it went on as if it ruined my life. Like it's something that I'd wished for so long, where I didn't have to get up at a specific time. I didn't have a boss. I didn't have um anyone to answer to. I could do what I wanted, and I found myself like it was a very strange part of my life that because it was like I'd got the perfect job. I was very well. I've said it's the same job that I'm doing now, but
Stripping.
yeah, like round the pole every day.
Yeah.
Like it's just great. And it's all the refunds I have to give out at the end that's just annoying. But anyway, um, no, the it's just it's just it's it's the wish it's when you find that what you want is such a big change, you sort of have to negotiate yourself into that and sort of the way that I did it was because I was very much for a routine and very much for a um this is what I'm here for, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is what I'm supposed to say, this is where I'm supposed to go. And like Wendy said, that very small we're a very small part very small part of like particle of sand in a massive desert. And I felt like that when I very first started this job because it was very sort of like it was everything I'd ever wanted, but it was a culture shock, and I felt so small about it. Like because I didn't have anything to do, I didn't really have that sort of routine. I didn't have to get up at 9 a.m. I didn't have to report to anyone, but I think again, like Lisa said, it's just not you just don't if the more that you don't give a shit, it's so much better. And the thing that helped me with it was giving myself a very, very basic routine. So even if it was like 10 o'clock, I'd go in the shower. At 10:30, I'd have a cup of tea. And at 11 o'clock, I'd probably check all my work emails to see if anybody had sent anything, return calls, da, 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 da. And it was, and I found the notion of a very basic routine quite stabilizing. Um, and then as I got on, as time went on, it was very sort of I didn't need them things anymore. So I get why people would think that routine's quite important, but on the grand scheme of things, the big I think in my opinion, we create the bigger picture. We create that sort of oh, I shouldn't be worried about that. But then you're creating that worry. Like the big, oh, I need like a routine and things like that is, yeah, it's stabilizing, but you create what you get at the end of it. You're the you're the boss of how the desert is, because the desert is what you make it, I guess, in my opinion. I think it's like I used to think, oh shit,
Yeah,
I've got nothing to do. I don't have to get up at this time. I
yeah,
don't have anybody,
absolutely.
and yeah.
Some people do really. Sorry, mate. You froze. My apologies. I thought you'd gone quiet, but my internet keeps dropping in and out. Carry on, please.
Well, I was literally just trying to round it up and say, I feel like that routines are very good way of stabilizing, but at the same time, what are you actually stabilizing from? The is it the thought of not having anything to do? Is the thought of being alone with yourself? Is it the thought of being you don't want to be sat because you got intrusive thoughts? Like, is it? It's the like Wendy said, the desert to me is built by me. Like, I am a very much small part of that desert, but we build it. We build what's in it. The only thing that we can't control is the waves that come to like to water it down, I guess. We can't control what comes. We can't control what else is happening outside in the world, but we can control what happens with our thoughts around it and our feelings.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful thing to start to become aware of. Like, I mean, personally, I can't stop thoughts coming into my head.
Mm.
Like I can't control my thoughts as such. Um, I don't know
But
about anybody else.
what you can do with them, you can.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's different. It's totally different conversation. But you're absolutely right. It's like I don't know. I made peace with the realization that thoughts are going to come into my head. All kinds of thoughts. And anybody who knows me knows I don't mind speaking my mind. But when I do say that I have thoughts that I wouldn't dare tell you lot or anybody, I mean it. I have insane, illegal thoughts, immoral thoughts, just fucking bonkers thoughts. But I'm a human. Not all the time, but sometimes.
It's funny that they try to come back to scare you. The exact same ones. The I like the past couple of weeks, I've just been inundated with horrendous intrusive thoughts, but it's very interesting to me how I deal with them now. So I get yeah, it's funny you brought that up, but yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, it's like when your relationship to thought changes, your life changes. As long as you believe that your thoughts are an obstacle, an enemy, a a malfunctioning, an illness, as long as you believe down that kind of pathway, that kind of trajectory, you are not going to experience peace in your life. Because I guarantee you one thing, if you try and get rid of something in your mind, you will continue to create it over and over and over and over again. If you turn an aspect of yourself into an enemy, you go to war with yourself. Who wins that war? I've done it. I've been the man who's been to war with his own mind. I've been the man who's been terrified of his own thoughts. Done it. Where did it get me? It got me in seeking gratification and self-worth in other people, circumstance, money, being a hard man. Excuse me, sex got doggy. Being a hard man, being somebody who desperately needed to be respected. And then before long, it progressed beyond that into constant downer about myself and life. And then it wasn't long before it was like, right, well, I'm done with this life if this is the case. And all of it started because I didn't understand my own mind. I didn't understand the nature of reality. I didn't understand my magnificence. I'd never found my magnificence. I'd never realized the magnificence of who and what we all are. But when your relationship with your own thoughts start to change, this is why I always use the analogy of the ocean. It doesn't matter what the hell the wave is coming from the ocean. It's always going to be water. In the same way as what we may call a positive thought or a negative thought is thought. It's thought. How do I remember my name? Thought. How did my family come up with my name? Thought. How do I know where I live? Thought. I mean, that's just two really crap examples, but you could go on for ad infinitum. How do I know who you lot are? Thought. Who are all of you lot to me? Well, whoever I think you are, whoever I think you are. You appear to me as I think you are. The same way as I appear to you how you think I am. And the more you start to become aware of the nature of thought and realize none of it's out to get us. Thought is not out to get us. It's not an enemy. It's an infinite force showing up in the now, in potentials. And no matter what potential from within the infinite is showing up, it's the same thing, just in a different disguise. That's why, I drew on the board that time at the community, by donation event we did during lockdown where Paul was there, and I wrote on it, the suicide thought is made of exactly the same thing as what flavour yogurt do I want? What flavour yogurt do I fancy? What flavour yogurt do I fancy? Is the same force in action as the suicide thought. One we take very, very seriously. The other one we kind of go, just make your fucking mind up. Just not Apple. You see, and the more we kind of unify the power of thought, the more we unify ourselves. And the more we start to see the eyes through the singular, as Sid Banks said, the closer to truth we are. We're never close to truth in division, whether that be on the world stage, within the family, within ourself. So yeah, when our relationship to our own mind starts to change, our lives change. And one of the things that happens more often than not is, all right, the battle stops. The war stops. We put down our weapons, we put down our guns, we put down our labels, we put down our concepts, we put down our shoulds, put down our shouldn'ts. And suddenly you find yourself in this space of like acceptance. I'm allowed to think, I'm allowed to feel. And the moment you embrace the totality of all reality within yourself, suddenly you find this freedom. You're like, fuck me. The thing I've been hiding from is feelings. The thing I've been hiding from is my own thoughts. That's what I've been terrified of. And suddenly you realize the only thing you've actually been afraid of is yourself. And you find your freedom. And you never forget it. You forget it, but you never forget it. You'll carry it with you till your dying days. When?
I'm a nurse, and recently, I mean, very recently, I've been in this conversation since 2017, and very recently, the penny dropped when it came to the power of thought is in play when I say, ow, my back hurts, or I got a headache, or oh, it's cold. Sensations can only be interpreted by my brain, my sentient conscious self, through that power of thought. It's cold outside there, and there may be some Inuit people who live, in much colder climates all the time than I do, and they might go, "You think this is cold, girlfriend?" Right? So it's not, it's the interpretation, it's my how I don't, is it interpret, something like that, how I metabolize the sensation of cold air on my skin, that I might go, "Oh, this feels great. I can't wait to put on a sweater." Or I could say, "Oh, I'm so cold. Will I ever be warm again?" The quality or the characteristic that I give the sensation, I cannot interpret the sensation without the power of thought, which is really what I wanted to say in the beginning, was that the power of thought is, for the first number of years I was in this conversation, was really about content of my thinking. Was I happy? Was I sad? Was it good? Was it bad? Was I anxious? Was I not anxious? Like, that's just literally the tip of the iceberg in terms of grasping or grappling with the power of thought.
100%.
Right. The power of thought is so much bigger, deeper, all-encompassing, never-ending,
Magnificent.
magnificent, universal, unending. Like there is no end to it. And I had really assigned it to the content of my thinking. And I don't think I ever really went all the way into, I want to use the principles so that I'll have a happier life. I don't think I ever really went in that direction of using them as a tool. I always think that I really kind of stayed on the line of, I am learning how the system I have been given works, rather than trying to live a happy-go-lucky life and skipping through the fields. It's more of an awareness of when I'm down in the dumps, or when my mood is low, everything looks less healthy, well, easy than it does when my mood is better. And so that's the mechanics of how it works. And physical sensations or sounds. How do I know if it's a piercing whistle unless I give it the words piercing whistle, right? I mean, everything, nothing can be experienced except through the power of thought. And it isn't just about little ticker tape running through my brain about what I'm thinking about, like whatever.
No.
It's everything. Where my butt in this chair, I'm holding up my laptop on my hand and my hand's getting sore. I'm gonna put it down soon. Like it's
Very
just
well.
it's fascinating, right? It's just how
Yeah.
do I know my hand is tired? Because I have a sensation and the power of thought gives me the sensation A, and B, I interpret it as my hand is getting tired, and somebody else might interpret it as good for you, your hand's getting stronger. Keep holding that laptop up, girlfriend. Right? I don't know. There could be a million ways to interpret that. But anyway, you get it. But the power of thought is just way deeper than I used to think it was.
That's it. And this, what you're saying there, if people can hear that, then you start to jump levels within your own self. It's like it's very, very easy because we use the word thought and people go, can you not use a different word? Well, find one. Do you know what I mean? But when we go thought, we immediately locate it to thinking. And Sid was always talking about the power of thought. It wasn't, it was that within, when I saw the power of thought within the jackdaw, that then saw it within myself and realized the power of thought is the fundamental creative force which animates and creates my experience of reality or the experience of reality. Do you know what I mean? And like at that point, I realized what I discovered was life-changing. I discovered this kind of hidden, like, what's the word? Like a level, like on a computer game, that this exciting new level that I discovered, and but it was in me. And it was in the jackdaw and it's in him.
It's my fucking tea time, Dave. Just do as a just get up and go outside. Put my food out. Forget it, Dave. Forget it.
So I'm a dog channeler. I channel dogs. Um, the vile, honestly, they're foul-mouthed things. They're unbelievable. Um, yeah, and it was discovering something that was always there. Oh dear, it's a cat on the screen, Pebs.
There's a what?
A cat.
I don't like them.
I know you don't. Doesn't like them. Oh, look at all the cats coming out and the dogs. It's nice. It's nice. You're all welcome. You're all welcome, furry friends.
Is that your new dog?
No, it's my mum and dad's dog.
Oh, okay.
They're away in Scotland, going up to the Shetland Isles on a ferry right now. Look at them lot. Hello, friend. Hello, Haley's dog. No, but it's very true. It's making that transition from thinking to the power of thought. It's like you're talking about two very different levels of reality. The power of thought is creator. Thinking, they're all out. They're all out. Hey, friend. Thinking is created. Oh, Greenlandic cat. That's lovely. Power of thought, creator. Thinking, created. So it's like when you start to look at it, when you start to become aware of this creative force, the power of thought, you start to align with the creator. And you start to take responsibility for your own life. You start to take responsibility for your own feelings. You start to take responsibility for your own behaviors. You start to take responsibility for your own actions, your own words. You start to grow the fuck up in the most childlike way. Where suddenly, because you start to discover your own magnificence, you start to discover the magnificence in everything. You start to see the trees different. You start to see the plants different. You start to see the animals different. You interact with your little friend who's sharing this life journey with you, who's got 4 legs and fur. You start to see them differently because they are that too. They are conscious, experiential beings just like us. That's why both of Wayne's cats have 2 very different personalities. I've never met them, but I don't need to. I just know. He's nodding. Why? Because they see the world differently. They see Wayne differently. Why? Because they create their experience of the world, just like we do. These principles are this, or the principle, in fact, isn't just unique to us as human beings. It's the expression of life through all things. It's how everything experiences. I listened to somebody say the other day, now flies don't have consciousness. Fuck. How do you come up with that conclusion? And he said they're incapable of making decisions. They just behave like flies. I was like, well, have you ever tried to catch one? It's perfectly capable of making the decision it doesn't want to be caught. And it responds in the moment. It makes a decision. Yeah, this isn't good for me. This isn't going to turn out well for me. I'm getting the hell out of it, yeah? And it buggers off. It is totally conscious. So are the trees. This isn't just a human thing. This is an everything thing. This is a whole within the magnificent whole thing. The way the magnificent whole works is the way that we work. Because I'm a part of the magnificent whole. It's a fractal thing. You take a cell out of the body. Apparently, according to Dr. Bruce Lipton, one of the very first epigeneticists. What? Really? I'm coming. Wait for Jenny. Go and get Jenny, and then I'll sort you out. Okay, promise. You take a cell out of the body, and he said it behaves just like the body. The micro cell behaves like the macro body. Micro cell behaves like the macro organism. He said it takes in nutrients, excretes, takes in oxygen, gives out carbon dioxide, shies away from toxins. It makes decisions. That's just one cell. And the interesting thing was they took out in the end, I've explained this before. All right. They took a cell out of the body, put it in a petri dish, and it divided. It divided into 2, so it had clones. One cell became 2 identical clones. Took one into one room and took one into another space, and they changed into different things. One changed into flesh, one changed into bone. And they were saying that's impossible because what the cell should become is already written in the DNA and the RNA within the nucleus of the cell. So they're defying the DNA. This is how shallow we understood DNA at the time. This is how shallow we understood anything at the time. We assumed that everything is a product of DNA. Who we are, our personality traits, how we'll show up in the world, whether we're prone to depression, cancer, all this stuff is written in our DNA. This was the assumption. The DNA is God. But they took this divided cell, one changed to flesh, one changed to bone. They're like, that can't happen. We must be missing something here. Anyway, so they took another cell, divided it, and they took out the nucleus of each cell. And one of the things that they said was we were fascinated to discover it continued to live. each cell continued to live. They didn't die. They'd taken out what they believed was the brain of the cell, contained all the information for the cell. They removed it, took in nutrients, excreted, took in oxygen, gave out carbon dioxide, shied away from toxins. Behaved just like the cell with the nucleus in it. Put one in one environment, one changed to flesh, put the other one in the other environment, one changed to bone. What the hell? This is getting more and more confusing. And it was then that Dr. Bruce Lipton had his kind of spiritual awakening. He's discovered there is an information that courses through effectively everything. He says it comes through, in his words, it comes from the environment. But in my words, it comes from within. And he said we are within infinite information. That's when he started to write his book on the biology of belief and how our beliefs affect our biology, how our beliefs affect our physicality. As we think, we affect our bodies, and effectively you can have the you can have the genetic kind of disposition towards cancer running through your family line. He's saying, but you don't have to activate it. And he said the power that turns genes on and turns genes off is thought. That's his conclusion. What we believe is very powerful. It shapes worlds. It creates and shapes worlds. The power of thought isn't just our thinking. It's the most misunderstood force. We know more about the bottom of the ocean than we do the power of thought. We know nothing about the bottom of the ocean. We know more about space than we do the power of thought. We know so much information about outside of ourselves, but we know so little about inside. As far as we can explore out, we can explore in. Dan.
Just as you and Wendy were speaking, I wrote down like two things that I thought, oh, I'll remember, but then I sort of put it into a quote, if you
I
will.
think it's a song. Go on.
No, oh no, that's not the boy band this evening, please. Um, so I did one. So it goes. Once you have an interest in discovery and knowledge, the computer game is easier the more you play it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. Nice. You know, all we really need to do to learn something is orientate our consciousness in that direction. And our mind brings us information. And it becomes easier. Yeah, I like that, Dan. That's cool. Perhaps not a song, perhaps it should be a rap. She's here. Guest speaker's here.
Saved by the Bell because I wasn't rapping.
Oh, you won't rap.
No, sorry.
Don't remember them two awesome Geordie rappers, PG and Duncan.
Oh, yeah, but like that the Geordie's not Smoggies.
Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry.
Yeah,
Let's stay
it's
true.
all right. Close enough.
Totally different. All right. How did it go?
All right.
All
We
right.
had about 7 stories. Try and get to stop wriggling. She just needs.
Yeah.
There's no point stopping stories unless she stops wriggling.
It's been a lovely conversation tonight. We have discussed, what the hell have we discussed? Oh, Wend opened up with something beautiful. She was saying that I'm going to totally ruin this now. I think Wen said, Wen, just say it, just say it.
Hi, Jenny. Um, I heard recently a saying that really just the penny dropped, and it just felt like it really put so many things together. The speaker, I am a magnificent part of the magnificent whole. And it just was like, oh, just so lovely, and just felt like it really, like I say, summed up a lot of things. So,
Yeah, it's
Right.
been some conversations about that, about the power of thought, believe it or not. Yeah, it's been nice. But I've been waiting for Jen to get back to talk about what somebody contacted us about.
Okay, look, just around boundaries.
Yeah, do you want to share what was written, or I'm gonna go feed the dog because he's been hassling me. I forgot
I
to
haven't
feed
got my
him.
phone. Hang
Can you do it on here or not?
on. Phone's just here.
We sound like we've got the plague. I'm not sure I haven't, to be honest. I've got itches all over me.
Oh, good.
Uh,
You already had your antihistamine.
I did this morning. Okay, I'm gonna let Jen introduce this next bit. I'm just gonna go feed the dog because when he wants to eat, it's a frigging miracle.
Oh,
Got to take it when he's there.
apologies if I have a big coughing fit in the middle. So just talking about boundaries, healthy boundaries, learning how to master boundaries, with friends, family relationships, when so many people are kind of people pleasers. So someone asked us to talk around that with the three principles, and nothing seemed to come to Dave's mind around that topic. So he said he'd wait for me to come. And I think the thing that really came to me was I would have described myself as a people pleaser, definitely before coming across the principles. But after coming across the principles, I think I got in touch with a place within myself which didn't need to be a people pleaser, didn't need to kind of look for outside validation to feel okay. And I think I started being able to say no and listening to myself. And I think I look back and I realize trying to like please everyone all the time was about me wanting to feel safe and me wanting to feel okay and worrying about upsetting people. But the reason I was worried about upsetting people is because if other people felt upset, then I would feel upset or worried or felt like I'd done something wrong. And I think when you strip everything back and realize that you cannot give someone else a feeling, you cannot make somebody else happy, you cannot make somebody else sad in its ultimate state. So it doesn't mean go around being awful to people, but you cannot give a feeling away. And when you start to see that, I think you get more autonomy and you get more able to stay true to yourself. So, since coming across the principles in 2005, I've made some decisions in my life that other people have not been happy with. And I've kind of seen that I can be uncomfortable and I'm all right. So I think it's allowed me to have, like, I've talked to my sister about this. Like, I've got different boundaries with my sister because I think I used to just let her walk all over me because she felt more powerful than me. Her will seemed more powerful than my will, and I'd always just back down for an easy life. And then after I came across the principles, I think I just started saying no a lot more. And even sometimes it was just almost to practice the ability to say it. So even though I didn't really mind if she'd ask me something like, could you have the kids this weekend? I'd just say no because I needed to practice. And it was just like, and I think that's been the nice thing about coming across the principles is you just kind of start playing with life and playing with thought in new ways. And you start to see what serves you and what doesn't. And me constantly trying to keep everybody happy was meaning that I wasn't then being true to myself. So the principles has allowed me to be truer to myself. And I can see that sometimes compromise is great. I can see that sometimes letting go of what I want and doing what someone else wants is fine. But being comfortable with all of that and it coming from a place of sort of being settled down rather than from fear. And I think the fundamental thing about the principles is bringing us back to within us is everything we need to create a beautiful life. We've got wisdom, common sense, everything. And so is everyone else. And I think I was too busy running around trying to make sure other people's worlds looked happy, and I'd forget that they had that within them too. But like, it's funny because I know the word boundaries to you is always a bit like, well, I haven't really, you don't really. And I've said to you sometimes, I think there needs to be different boundaries around like affection with different people, but you're just like this puppy that just wants to love everyone and doesn't really understand this idea of boundaries. So it didn't really make sense to you when that question came.
Which is why we really want to hear.
Yeah, so but I think for me, I've had to learn, but you've always also been able to say yes or say no. You've always been able to be honest with yourself and then honest with the world about what you want and what you don't want. Whereas I'm someone that has really struggled with that in the past of being able to say what I would like, being able to be honest. And I think that's something that hasn't really been a thing for you. So you've almost just naturally
Negated them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If that makes
because I think,
sense.
like I said, I really wanted Jen to be here for this part because I don't think I'd give particularly good answers. But one of the things, I mean, I think it depends. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you want to let him out? If, if, if you know you're in a threatening relationship, dangerous relationship, or something like that, you know, and you are having to keep yourself physically safe, then I think that needs to be done. But I don't know. This is just my interpretation. This is how I see it, and I'm open to being somebody going, no, well, this is how I see it, and shining far deeper light upon it for me. And but one of the things I think I seem to notice about people who put up boundaries is I'm curious about what the boundary is protecting them from. That's what I'm curious about. What is that boundary keeping you safe from? And again, I'm not talking about somebody who's in an abusive relationship getting physically hurt or anything like that. But I'm talking about everyday boundaries, people who tend to live their lives with a lot of I have my boundaries, I have my boundaries, and you generally find that their boundaries are their edges, it's where it's the aspects of the ego they don't want to look at. It's like it's the aspects of their ego that kind of rule their life. And kind of it's their fears. And they don't want their fears kind of being brought into their awareness so that they then experience them. And I've come across a few people who've got boundaries, very big boundaries, but I've also noticed that those people really kind of struggle to hold down friendships and stuff like that. And when you meet these people, I'm not saying that this individual who said this is these people, really, I'm not. This is just my experience of people who kind of speak an awful lot about boundaries. They're very difficult to be around because they're so easily offended. And the only way you can ever be offended is because of ego. And that individual isn't taking responsibility for their feelings. They're blaming me or them for their feelings, which is kind of contrary to how reality is actually born. It's 180 degrees in the wrong direction of how reality really is actually being created, because reality is 100% created from within. So therefore, any offense that I ever encounter, any threat that I ever feel, I'm not talking about physical threat, but I'm talking about like any time I feel like, oh, anything uncomfortable, it's coming from me. And trust me, I've had that today. Had that today. I've had something today show up like this that I'm talking about with a member of my family. And it would be so easy for me to put up a boundary. And trust me, I was getting fucking close. Well, I just want to put up a boundary and go, oh, I'm done with that. But instead I didn't. I just said, look, I'll be perfectly honest, I don't really know how to have a conversation with you about something. And we had a conversation and we both listened to one another. This is a really important member of my family. And we both listened to each other and we both spoke honestly and openly. And there was no need to put up a barrier. There's no need to put up a boundary. We agreed on some things and we disagreed on others. And we left it at that. But I don't know. I see this is kind of where I feel like you come in because you've got a far more.
I think you're somebody who's very, definitely since I've known you, only so I didn't know you pre-principles, is you're very grounded in yourself. So I don't think you'd ever feel like you're pushed into doing something you didn't want to do. Like, I think it's quite far out of your reality
Yeah.
to get that. But I feel like I understand how, in different relationships in my life, I have not been honest with myself and done things I haven't wanted to do, and because through fear. So I think it's that kind of the principles. I feel like the more we learn about the principles, the more we learn about ourselves, we get in touch with that space that can be honest. And I think,
What is that boundary keeping us safe from?
but it's not even that, I don't know, because I feel like I needed to actually put in place, no, you can't phone me 20 million times. If I haven't answered, it's because I can't answer, I'll phone you back. Like those kind of things, I was able to actually have those honest conversations. So
But
someone might call that
yeah, okay.
like a boundary, but for me, it was just like, just be honest with
I wonder if
people.
it's just the word that I'm struggling with. The actual
Yeah, so
word
I think
boundary.
it's just, I think it's just the word you're focusing on.
Because
So I think
I
it's
seem to
about,
find that when the moment I don't like buzzwords. I
do
don't
sometimes.
like what?
You talked about resilience a lot for a while.
I rarely
You
talk
did
about
for a while.
resilience. I
You put it on our
rarely.
sign.
I know, put it on the sign because it's what people want. But I never spoke. No, but it's what you see. It's these buzzwords. I don't do buzzwords. I don't really like them because it seems like because the moment we have a buzzword, it becomes a thing.
Yes, I think it's become a thing.
Do you know?
I
It
think.
things it, and boundaries become a thing. Trauma becomes a thing. Mental illness becomes this thing. It's like these buzzwords. They become a thing as opposed to what they truly are, which is a concept within the mind, just like everything else, just like Wendy was saying. And so I think that's probably one of the things that I've come up against. The moment I hear boundary, I kind of go, oh, buzzword. And that's probably a little bit of discriminatory me coming in there. Do you want to hear what Wayne wanted to say?
Yeah.
Wayne. I was checking. I didn't think she was going to say no, Wayne.
I like what you said there because for me, over the last couple of weeks, and I only realised it yesterday after speaking to you, Dave, that I was fearful of rejection.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's you're protecting yourself from your rejection. And I think yesterday when I was travelling home, rather than kind of hammering it down the motorway at 80 mile an hour, a little bit.
Hey, do you get to do 80 miles an hour on a motorway?
He obviously never does
M-
it. No, it's always
M40. No, of course I don't.
M4.
But instead of doing that, I was quite happy at 65, literally just taking in the beauty of just being on the road on my own with my thoughts and just not having any fear of rejection. Because, yeah, I've been rejected in the past, but have I actually ever been rejected? No. And I think it's that fear. It's that fear that kind of stops you.
Nice, man. Nice. Something that's coming to me as you're saying that is, again, I'm not saying this has to be a personal thing. It has to be a personal thing. Okay. And not everybody's like me. Thank fuck, in all honesty. It's true, isn't it? Yeah, bitch. Did that come out? It came out, didn't it? But the thing is, the moment we put in these kind of barriers, we shut down communication.
Mm.
we shut down opportunities to let go of hurt. Do you know what I mean? We shut down opportunities to put to rest things that have been blighting us for days, weeks, months, years. I personally feel like rather than barriers, what our lives need is more openness. But that's just me.
Yeah, I think it's the word, because
Yeah.
I was saying that in Modelo, when Dr. Roger Mills went in with a group of people and taught like the very downtrodden American project about the three principles, I think in the 70s or 80s, the thing that happened for people is like they would go, like relationships that were abusive, the person that was being having the abuse done to them would say no more, like enough. I won't have that happen to me anymore. And the relationship either improved or they left. And I think it's the word that's getting in your way,
right.
because I think it's about people stepping into their power, being honest and authentic with the
Yes.
world.
Yes.
So if you take away that word,
Yes.
that's all it's about. It's like
Yes.
the principle seems to allow us to step back into our power. And like for Wayne,
Be more authentic.
for Wayne to see yesterday, oh wow, I didn't know, but I'm living out of this experience of being feared of being rejected. So if we're scared of being rejected, we're more likely to then try and please people because we don't want to be rejected. So
Yeah.
it's like invisible.
Put your boundaries up.
Well, yeah, or just it's
Yeah.
like invisible thought that's running your life.
Yeah.
And if you start to see it, you're like you get more say on, is this serving me? What else can I do different? So, but I think it is the word you're hung up on, because you don't like any labels.
No.
So it's just you think it's a label, so
Bit
you're like,
twatty,
yeah.
I am a bit twatty.
When did you want to say something to that?
Yeah, it's just kind of an observation in I belong to a group of women that are reading Three Principles books every Saturday morning. And there are 7 of us, including me. And 3 of those women currently have adult children that have cut off communication with them. And I keep seeing that more and more online, that it's sort of like a badge of honor for middle-aged younger adults to say, my parents are toxic, my mother's toxic, I'm done. And they just completely ghost their family, and they for years at a time. So I just maybe I don't want to make a declaration that it's much more common now than it used to be. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I don't know, but it's on my radar. And so just speaking to what Dave said earlier, that it's all internally driven. Is your mother, who's 75 years old, a toxic human being and is spewing venom into your life, or are you perceiving that? And it is if then, I mean, it is one way or the other in that, but once you accept responsibility that it's your thought system that is creating that reality, then there's some wiggle room to renegotiate it, talk about it, stay away, go closer in, whatever. But when you keep assigning other people as being vile humans that should not be allowed into your personal space, the world, we are kind of looking in the wrong direction. It's a giant misunderstanding, I think.
I like that, Wendy. And I think one of the things, just to expand on what you're saying there, that toxic mother, or in my experience in my life growing up, I'd have said my father was toxic. I wouldn't now. But one day I clearly saw the essence of the toxicity that my father's kind of lived out of. What I would have deemed as being, if I'd been into labels and if that kind of was a word 15 years ago, which it probably really wasn't. It's a new kind of thing that people are jumping on the bandwagon of. But that toxic relationship that we had was born out of insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
and hurt and
Mhm.
um,
Yep.
misunderstanding of one another.
Mhm.
And when I saw it like that, and suddenly my father didn't look toxic, he looked like a human being.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like it's very, very easy for us to look at other people's behavior and label it as unacceptable, which I don't doubt for a moment some of it is, because it really is. Some of it is, it's not good. But when you break it down, when you go below it, when you go below it, when you go below it, it's like you'll find a human being that's suffering
Yeah.
in one degree or another. Now, any of us can be that person.
Mhm.
Any of us can be that person. So I feel like
Mhm.
it's a real deeply humbling,
Mhm.
level playing kind of realization is that where you can you realize that you could quite easily be that person. You'd show up different perhaps, but at the essence of it, the root cause of it is the same thing. It's an insecurity.
Mhm.
It's an experience, it's a feeling state that they don't feel safe and comfortable in their own skin or the world. Now, is that toxic? I couldn't rule
Yeah. Yeah.
toxic at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. These three women in particular, I mean, they stand there befuddled, like, when did when did this happen? Like, one day it was fine, and then 2 days later I get a letter saying, never contact me again, never talk to me again. I'm done. I don't have parents. Like, what? Like they literally feel left in, like, it makes no sense. They can't connect any dots. So what a strange feeling that must be, to be in such different places. And you're right, it is a lot of it is insecurity on somebody's part, saying, if I can put this boundary up, then I will be safer. I will be more comfortable. I can walk around the world easier if I don't get a text that pisses me off, or my mother doesn't bake the cake the way that she used to, and she doesn't really love me, or whatever it is, the kind of stuff. And I don't mean to be simplistic. It could be very deep,
Totally.
important matters, but
Yeah.
it's this sense of, yeah, what's coming to mind is that somehow we've been given the idea that we should feel safe and happy 24/7. And when something doesn't go our way, that needs to be eliminated, squashed, gotten rid of, you know. Yeah, I
This
was
is the
taught.
question. It's like
Yeah,
this is the like question I do like to ask people is, when people do put up these boundaries, why are you putting these boundaries up? It's to keep me safe. Safe from what?
yeah,
Safe from what? What you can, again, I'm not talking about the person, the abusive, physically abusive partner or whatever, anything like that. I'm talking about the mother and daughter, mother and son, whatever. Like, what are you keeping yourself safe from?
mhm,
Like, their toxicity. Okay, their toxicity. Okay. And but if you really look at it closely, bearing in mind the only thing we ever experience, how the only way we can experience reality is from within ourselves out into our experience, and the only thing we're ever actually experiencing anyway is ourself,
mhm.
you know, at that point you realize, well, the thing that I don't like is what I'm trying to keep myself safe from is feelings. I'm trying to keep myself safe from feeling a certain way. I don't want to feel a certain way.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And that this is something that I see over and over again in my work. It's like I see people who are trying to keep themselves safe from their own feelings. Boil it down, that's what you're left with.
And if you only realized how fleeting feelings are.
Yeah, yeah,
I
and
mean,
they're
all
honest.
that work for a minute and a half of agita,
Yeah, and
because the dog's going to need to go out, the dog's going to need to be fed, Lucia's going to cry, I'm going to cough, whatever. We go on to the next thought pretty damn quickly all the time.
yeah, And like I say, this has to be an individual thing because I
Mm.
love what you're saying as well. And I want you to say some more, but like this is an individual thing, and I can only speak from my own experience.
Well, I think there's something that Keith Bevan's wife Valda said once, which was, it seems when you get in touch with something true and constant, what needs to happen for your life comes forth. So I needed to speak up, put in place like I'm comfortable with that, I'm actually not comfortable with that, and I'm fluid with it, but I needed to do that in my life to create a more beautiful life. But for somebody else, it might be like, hang on a minute, you've got so rigid, you've got all these things in place to try and keep you safe, start to see through that. But I think the nature of this understanding throughout my life has been that what comes to us in a moment is helpful in that moment, and I'm fluid with it,
Yeah.
and I'm not attached to it.
Yes.
And I think and I think often I look at what is my come from in this? Why am I doing
What's
this?
the origin of this
What's
experience?
driving it, kind
Yeah.
of thing. And I think there's an honesty that we seem to find. And I don't know, I think I often feel like we actually are here for such a short space of time. And there has been times when I'm like, with the principles, I've seen that it's just coming from me, it's just coming from me, it's just, and then carried on spending time in someone's company. I'm like, I don't really get on with you. I don't really enjoy your company. I keep trying to show up different. I keep trying to see you different, but this is my life. And actually, I'm sure there's people that you get along with in a beautiful
Yeah.
way,
About
and
10
that's been all
times in this
right.
call.
Hey, oh, have we paused? Oh no.
Say that again, Wendy. Was that Wendy? When did you say something then, love?
Yeah, I'm complaining to my husband that my internet is unstable, but other than that, I'm fine.
Oh, right, okay.
Um,
Thought we'd been bombed again.
did you?
Yeah.
You can't be bomb now. It's bomb proof.
Cool. Yeah,
Good.
that's MDF.
That's on there.
It's bad.
Yeah, but I think it's a bit like you say, it's such an individual thing. Like, if you take off any of these ideas of what you're supposed to do or whether you need to put in boundaries or not boundaries, I feel like the principles allow us to just start living, and you're not thinking about living so much, and you naturally show up in different ways with different people and have conversations that need to be had. And I don't know, I feel like there's an honesty and a fluidity, and there's a noticing of, like, I love that Wayne literally said, like, yesterday you just saw that, and you've been around the principles for years, and it's
Yeah.
helped you in so many ways, but suddenly you're like, wow, that's something I hadn't seen. And I think the more open to that we are, the more open to change we are. I
And
know.
I think that's the thing. I think it doesn't matter. I remember you saying actually, Jen, it doesn't matter how long you've been around this. You know, I've been around this, what, 12 years? And like the last, say, 2 weeks or something, I got really in my head. And then yesterday, it kind of just dropped away again. Now, it's not to say that I'm not going to get in my head again, because I will. I know I will. And that's fine.
Totally.
It,
Totally.
you know, the amount of times we get in our heads, I'm not going to say, oh, you know, I'm not going to get in my head, because I will. And why should I put that on me to say that I'm never going to get in my head again? Why should I put that pressure on myself?
Yeah. And that's it. There's Jenny's fluidity you're talking
Mm.
about.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a beautiful thing, the fluidity.
Yeah.
That's when you more ocean.
Mm.
More the ocean self is when you're fluid.
Yeah. And I think as well, I think it's about having the freedom and the fluidity to put in place boundaries and to remove them, and to not kind of to feel empowered to put the boundaries. You're not going to put your hand on a stove 20 times. You're not going to let your cat scratch you 20 times. There's going to be a point where you go, you know what? No.
Cat, you're going in the oven.
Yeah. But it's that. There's only so much you will let somebody talk to you in a way before you go, you know what? No. Either you talk to me differently or, I'm just going to go away.
Yeah.
It's interesting. The other day, like both of us have not been well, like for the last couple of weeks, and mine's been going on since about October, so I am drained, and my tolerance levels are down. But I've been like generally with Luce, I'm pretty good. And then the other night, she was messing around and messing around before going to bed, and we'd already done loads of stories. I've been down there for just over an hour,
Excuse me.
and then I said, Lucia, you need to go to sleep. I'm starting to feel really cross. And then she just quickly laid down, and then she held my hand. And then I told her I loved her, and she went to sleep like almost immediately. And then I came upstairs and cried. I was like, oh, it was horrible to her. And then I thought about my sister and her daughter. And then my sister actually phoned me. And then I just told her, and she's like, Jen, it's really good to sometimes say, this is not okay. Like, you're exhausted. You need to, like, you've got jobs to do. She does need to go to bed. You've already given her all this time and energy. Like, and she said, do you want to create? Because her and her daughter had a dynamic where I think my sister so wanted her to thrive and have autonomy that she almost then was a walkover for her. And it wasn't until she was 13 that my sister put in some really firm boundaries and yes and no's. And it was really not met very well for about 6 months. And then it completely changed the dynamic. And it really helped my niece settle because she actually knew where she stood in things. And she just said to me, just be
She could be
aware.
a kid as opposed to trying to be the adult, couldn't she?
Yeah. And I think Lucia has got an incredibly strong will. Like she's a willful little thing. And I know that I have the tendency to just sort of want to make it all nice all the time. But I am starting to realise that she's getting more kind of full of herself. I'm having to not, I don't even have to shout. I just raise my voice slightly in a firm way and just say, no, enough. And that's okay. And it's coming from a loving place because actually she does need to go to sleep. We've got, we had a busy day the next day, and it's it's just like we're all learning all the time. And I think being open to change and being open to insight, and I think, and then leaving, I think the nice thing was that I did bring it upstairs with me. I did have a chat with my sister, but then it's like it's been left. I'm not like still holding on to that 3 or 4 days later, whenever it was. And I think the thing that I remember hearing about Sid was, for anyone that is new to this call, Sydney Banks, the man who first articulated the principles and had the insight, they said that being around him, he was the person that changed the most over like the 20 or 30 years that the people had known him, because he was constantly allowing his mind to change and to learn and to see. Um, and I think that's something that we allow ourselves to do when we don't like hold on to something as being like, this is what I need to do now, always to keep me safe. It's like this is makes sense right now. This is what makes sense in this moment. And I think the principles is very much about coming back to the present moment where common sense, wisdom, everything we need exists. We spend so much time living out of memory and kind of habitual thinking that we can lose sight of the potential of the new moment. And I feel like the principles in my life has allowed me to do that more and like have it and drop it and have it and drop it. Um, and that is that freedom of mind, the freedom of thought.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah.
God, I hope it works. The thing with thinging things is that the thing we have thinged was never actually a thing, it was a thought. Thanks. Keep thinging things. And
I was just to say the other night when we had a friend come around and she's got a chihuahua which is about like this big, and I was just terrified of stepping on it. So Lucia,
she
it was like
made
she
up.
couldn't believe that this dog was so small, and she just wanted to touch it and play with it and do this with it. And then you said to her, if you do one more thing, you're going to have to go downstairs and you can't come back. And then she managed to like get hold of this dog, and she picked it up and then she dropped it on a, luckily on the other dog's bed. And I think she was doing it that way, but because you said it, you had to stick to it. But then about half an hour later, you went and had a conversation with her, said, right, I'm seeing it differently now. I understand actually you weren't trying to hurt, and you moved rather than being like, no, I've said it, I've got to stick to it completely. There was like movement around the decision because you saw you'd reacted a bit harshly, but actually she hadn't meant to
Yeah.
hurt the dog.
Yeah.
It was since like stressful days of my life because I was just like, this isn't fun trying to keep Lucia from like doing something to this dog or putting something on its head or putting its toys in water or
Yeah.
sorry, go back to your thingy thoughts.
The
Things.
thing with thinking things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's all our thinking that we do, turning things into things. Like boundaries becomes a thing. You know, resilience becomes this thing. All these buzzwords become this thing. They become a thing. They never actually were a thing. They were a thought. And, you know, this is something we're buggers for as human beings. We thing everything up. And it's like we turn feelings into things. Like if you unthing a feeling, like if you unthing anxiety, if you unthing depression, if you unthing worry, if you unthing joy, if you unthing all these emotions, you unthing them. When I say unthing them, I mean you remove the identity that we have created for them. We've given everything a little fancy identity. And it's not the same identity like people, you know, everything every feeling has a different identity to different people. Like, so to some people, anxiety is a real thing. But I remember you speaking to my dad about anxiety, and my dad said, I don't think I really get anxiety. He talked to me about it and he explained it a bit, and he went, I suppose I do feel those feelings. I said, yeah, if I've got a big job on and this, that, and the other. And he says, but I would never call that anxiety.
Yeah.
And
that blew my mind actually.
And like how thinged you'd made anxiety compared to how unthinged my dad's
well, I can see
experience of
it's
it was.
almost like a learned thing though, because my dad has talked about anxiety, being an anxious person is my whole life. And then I was everyone was like, you're like your dad, you're very anxious like your dad, you're very anxious like your dad. So anxious became a something that I
Became a
was.
thing, yeah. And like, but when you take away all the story about it, what are you actually left with? Like, if you unthing all these things, what are you actually left with? This could be anything, you know, any feeling, any label, any idea we've kind of built into a big thing. Like, take away its identity and what are you actually left? What is anxiety without the big kind of ooh anxiety, and depression without the ooh depression and all this stuff? What is it? What you actually left with is just an experience. You're left with an experience. You're left with a feeling. Like, and so I don't know. I think a feeling is so much easier to deal with when it's unthinged. When you haven't got to deal with all the bullshit that we've created around it as well. It's like I just feel like it simplifies life. And you don't find peace through making life more complex. You find peace through making life more simple. Or not even making it more simple, discovering its pre-existing simplicity.
Because I had a moment the other morning where I was just like, it's just always okay. And then I was questioning the word okay. Like, what does okay actually mean? But I didn't Google it in the end. But just, I guess when I'm using the word okay, it's just, there's nothing to do. There's nowhere to go. You're just okay. But we will dream and dream things to worry about. We'll dream things to be scared of. We'll dream things to panic over. Like, we're going to dream for the rest of our lives and experience feelings. But at a core level, we're always okay. Because it's only ever going to be a creation of the mind, a dream state. And it's like just having that thought the other day really settled me down again because, like, well, that's true for everybody. Like, everybody is. is an unbreakable spirit that gets to experience life through thought, and we take it all so seriously. And then,
Satisfactory,
yes, it's probably not the right word, but
agreeable, pleasant.
it's more peace, I guess. Feeling when I say okay, it's like just a peace.
Neutral.
Yeah. Did you have your hand up before, Wayne, as well?
Well, it just reminds me, I don't know if you know who Hannah Studley is, but she's somebody in this conversation. And a couple of years ago, she was having a conversation. My husband had a coaching call with her, and he was explaining how he gets to a certain point in a project, or he wants to learn how to play an instrument, or he wants to make plans to actually go on a trip, or he wants to execute on something. And then he gets overwhelmed, a little panicky, and he does, and his heart races and his stomach flips over, and he takes that as like, no, not for you. This isn't for you. You better back away because it's too much. This is not your piece of the pie, kind of thing. That's how I interpret it. And so he was telling Hannah about that. She says, well, tell me what it feels like. He said, well, my stomach is flip-floppy and my heart's racing. And she said, She says, people who go on a roller coaster and have a hell of a good time, they feel those feelings too. Like the sensations, we think we thing them into overwhelm, not a good thing to move forward on, bad choice. Whereas other people, like she described somebody walking in the room and saying, "Oh, oh, my heart's going a million miles an hour," and somebody might go, "Are you okay? Do you need an ambulance?" She'll say, "No, I just was somebody just asked me to marry them. I'm beside myself with excitement." Do you know what I mean? But it's the same boom, 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 and red face and flush, and so it is very,
Physiological reaction.
yeah, yeah, but it has philosophical, life altering, implications. I'm overwhelmed that, the universe is telling me that I shouldn't go on that trip. The universe is telling me I shouldn't ask my boss for a raise. The universe is telling me blah, 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 because I'm interpreting the sick stomach and the anxious feelings as that, as opposed to going, I'm really juiced and energized. I'm going to go in I'm going to go in my boss's office and ask for that raise, but it's the same physiological feeling. And what does that create in a life?
Yeah.
You're toxic. You're not toxic. I like you. I don't like you. Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a really nice thing you just reminded me of it, that where Terry would Gabor Mate, was it? Had written Gabor Mate had written something about always trusting your gut, and she'd kind of written a response to it. You told me about it.
Yeah, I read it twice.
Well, I assumed you'd be better at explaining it, maybe because I'd never read it once, but
I read it
can't
out to you,
remember
didn't
what
I?
it said.
It was something to do with the problem is we live in a false paradigm. And if we live in a
Do you want me to say what you said?
false paradigm, that's what she said.
Okay.
Your gut will be telling you, if we think we live on a flat earth, stay away from the edge. So that's what your gut would tell you. Whereas if you live in a true paradigm, then so she said it's which paradigm are you in?
Yeah,
most of us live in a false paradigm.
Grounding in terms of your everyday, what's your everyday understanding of life? If you live with the everyday understanding of life that reality imposes itself upon you, your gut's going to give you information regarding your gut feelings are going to be giving you information regarding that platform that you survey life through. And she was saying, it's all well and good saying people trust your gut, but if you believe the earth is flat, then your gut's going to tell you, don't go near the edge, don't go near the edge, don't go near the edge. And so she was saying, it's all right saying this, trusting your gut and all that, but no, first of all, we need to help people understand how reality works.
Yeah. And your gut is influenced by, are you hungry? Are you angry? Are you lonely? Are you tired? What I might interpret being too close to the edge of the earth as being a bad thing today might be worse because I'm starving. I haven't had protein in days or whatever. But if I have a full belly and I just got up from a big Sunday roast dinner and I go to the edge, I go, oh, who cares? Just keep walking, see what happens. Right?
Yeah.
So it depends on your state of mind too, how you interpret all that stuff.
Well, that's what she's saying. That you,
Yeah.
do you want to
I was
read
just
it?
going to read it, yeah.
Go
So
ahead, you read
she goes, a few days ago, I watched a clip from Gabe Matty, one of the world's foremost voices on trauma. A lot of what Gabe says is deeply profound, but there's a lot he says that I vehemently disagree with. This time I disagreed. He said something like, every time you don't follow your gut, it leads to trouble. It sounds wise, but here's the problem. What if your gut is based on a faulty premise? If you believe the earth is flat, your gut will tell you to avoid the edge. But the problem isn't your gut, it's your starting point. It's the same with self-worth. If your mind believes your value depends on social approval, likes, shares, comments, then your gut will tell you to chase validation or avoid anything that threatens it. But that's not wisdom, that's conditioning. If we want to raise clear thinkers, we have to show them what it looks like to slow down, to question, to poke holes in what they're being told, even and especially when it sounds true. Not everything that sounds profound is true. Yeah, this is what goes on. It's a really good. I'll see if I can share it on the group.
Yeah. Golas Terrilas. Does anybody else want to say anything? Excuse me. Tuberculosis.
Man flu.
Same thing.
Yeah, man flu.
I think it's all moment to moment as well. Because as I came into the house earlier, the two cats, well, one of them was going to hit the other one and kind of go for him. And now they're literally either side of me, asleep.
Walked in, the cats were just about to kill each other.
Yeah. One goes for the other, and it's just like, why? Yeah.
True, man. It's all temporary. It's all temporary. Your cats just proved it.
I remember when I had sessions with Janet Riney once, and I had this massive insight, and it was, who is Wayne? And it woke me up to kind of, wow, I can be anyone I want to be. You know, I'm Wayne with a disability, yeah, but I could go down the street and walk. You know, I could get into a swimming pool and walk. You know, it's all conditioning, and it's all made out of thought.
Yeah, any limitation is a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always remember Gordell saying that. And he said, because he was always told he'd never have children, wasn't he? And because of his physical disabilities in a wheelchair. And next thing he's having kids. And he's like, well, if I could do that, I'm going to walk. Next thing he's sending us videos of him with a Zimmer frame and he's walking. Problem was, in that same video, his daughter's got hold of a cat swinging it around, wouldn't she? Swinging this cat around and round. And as much as you wanted to appreciate Gordell doing this amazing walking, you couldn't help but feel sorry for this bloody cat getting absolutely destroyed by this 3-year-old kid. Oh, good lad, Gordell. Good lad, Wayne.
It's funny you should say that, because I once, when I was born, I was told I wouldn't walk, wouldn't talk, wouldn't, you know, do any of it. And a couple of years ago, I was like, you know what? I want to try and walk as best as I can. And so I've always been on walkers or on 2 sticks or anything like that. And I remember walking with 1 stick. And yeah, I was petrified, but I did it.
Yeah.
And it's just it blows my mind to kind of think you can do anything you really set your mind to. It's like what you were saying.
What did we start this conversation off? Where's Wendy gone? Has she buggered off? That's when I need her. She's gone. What did Wendy start this conversation off as?
I don't know, she texted me. She texted me something and told me to show it to you when I was downstairs.
Oh, we are a magnificent part of the magnificent whole.
Pebbles on God's beach.
Pebbles on God's beach.
Oh, she's missed the bit.
We are a magnificent part of the magnificent whole. Yeah. We're magnificent, all of us. We always have been. We've just thinged ourselves. Thinged other people. Thinged everything. And the moment we thinged it, it lost its magic. Because we thought we knew. We thought we knew something.
We think we know one another. And then that's only moment to moment. As you said last week, or the week before, sorry. You know, you can meet somebody in moments in time.
Yeah. It is true. Let's call it a night. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Been cool doing a topic I've not felt remotely comfortable on.
You're like,
Not remote.
you're like, you have to get Lucy to bed because I can't talk to her.
Yeah, I was like, cool, I need you here for this one. Yeah. I'm glad you were. And no, thank you all so much for being here. Anybody who wishes to make a donation, please look in the link below. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Next Monday.
Yes. Usual time.
Usual time.
Thank you.
Down south, will we?
Yes.
Potentially.
Yeah, and then the following Monday we'll be on retreat, so it won't be.
So do this next week, and then the week after we've got a retreat. And Ali and Alan will be there. Can't wait to see you.
I looked on the calendar with you and I was like, oh, it was like 12 days and now it's like 11 days
Oh,
away,
it's
I think.
mad, isn't it?
Suddenly, yeah, it's suddenly upon us.
Looking forward to that. Alan will share a naked hot tub.
Lucky
Right,
Alan.
lucky Alan, yeah.
Thank
Right,
you.
let's stop recording because I just talk shit. Right. Love you all.